Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be customizing the Shafter V12 Armored. The Shafter V12, I think I've probably mentioned before, is definitely in my top 10 favorite cars in the game. And for some reason, I have never looked into customizing the armored version of it. So we're going to get into that today, starting right now. This thing is crazy. Um, it sounds so good. The regular Shafter sounds so good, and this sounds the same as that. So I love that. And this one's armored, so I'm not sure. We're gonna get into the review after, but for right now, let's get into this customization. So armor. Oh, okay. It starts off with 80%. That's crazy. Okay, well we're gonna go 100. For the brakes, we're gonna go race. For the bumpers, for the front bumper, we have the option for Euro bumper, carbon front splitter, or extreme aero front bumper. You know what? For this car, we're going to go with the carbon front splitter. I usually would not do that, but today we're going to. For the rear bumper, we are going to be putting on the carbon rear diffuser. I think it makes the car look a little more aggressive, which I like. And yeah, engine all the way up. For the exhaust, we have a few options here. I think we're going to go for the race exhaust. It looks pretty good. For the hood, we have the option for the vented hood or the carbon vented. We're going to be going with the vented hood because I don't like carbon hoods myself personally, but that's okay. For the lights, xenon, of course. For the plate, yellow on black, of course. For the respray, I'm not sure what color to make this thing. I usually go with like a silver or something like that, but honestly, like this red is it's looking good. We're gonna go with a metallic sunset red for both the primary and the secondary. It's a color that I don't think I've ever really used before, so that's kind of cool. For the trim color, this car is a very, very unique option. Like pretty much the entire car gets the color. So we're gonna go for something. Kind of want to go for a red. Kind of want to go for something bright though, like Torino red. I almost wish there's a little less red on the interior, to go for. I feel like, you know what? I feel like the car's too red now. I think we're gonna need some ice white. I think that's it's too bright too. But you know what? We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna just go with it. For the roof, we can go stock or we can go carbon. I'm gonna elect to go carbon. Really like how that looks. For the skirts, we can do either custom skirts or carbon skirts. We're going to go for the carbon because it matches again with the rest of the carbon on the bottom of the car. For the spoiler, we can go for a lip spoiler, a carbon wing, or a high level spoiler. We are, of course, are going to go for the lip spoiler because I am obsessed with ducktail spoilers for some reason. And I just think it looks fantastic. So moving on, suspension. We could drop it all the way or we could keep it raised. I'm actually going to keep it just at lowered suspension because the back wheel on this car, my only complaint with this car is the fitment of the back wheel here. And if you start lowering the suspension too much, the back wheel just looks kind of ridiculous. So I like to keep it higher up to make the back wheel sort of match up with the front wheel, if you know what I'm saying. So for the transmission, we're going to go all the way up on that, and the turbo, of course, as well. For the wheels, we have a lot of options here. I'm going to try out my new favorite rims on this thing because I have never tried it on a Shafter before. So we're going to do that. We're going to paint them black, and we're going to do bulletproof tires. They're already on it. Perfect. We could do a custom tire design on this thing. I don't think it kind of doesn't really match up with the whole look of the car, though, so I think I'm going to avoid it. And for the windows, we are going to go limo tint, of course. And so that concludes the customization part of this. Now let's take this thing down to the ground. We're going to do a sound test and we're going to do a review of the car. I'm also going to do an armor test. And yeah, so let's start off with the sound test. As you guys can hear, really, really good sounding car. Love it. Super good. Probably realistically my favorite sounding car in the game. I know there's cars that kind of sound better, honestly, but it's probably my favorite, I think. So a lot of wheel spin off the line, but once you start going, the acceleration is very good, and there becomes no wheel spin quite soon. The top speed on this car is actually ridiculously good. I believe it's in the coupes category. I could be wrong, or it might be in sedans. But I believe it is the fastest car in its category in races. Not the armored version, obviously, the regular version of it. But the armored shares, I believe, pretty much the same stats. So that's interesting. But for free mode, the armored version, you do get that extra layer of protection. I believe it can take 1 RPG. But we're going to get into that in a few minutes here. So yeah, top speed really good, acceleration really good. The handling, the car does like to slide out, kind of, but the armored version though, it seems heavier. It feels heavier than the normal car. I'm not sure if this is like a placebo effect type of deal, or if it really is heavier. But it does, in my opinion, feel a little more planted than the regular Shafter V12. So I'm not 100% sure, but that's how I feel. So that's pretty much the extent of the review here, guys. I think what we're going to do now is just an armor test. I'm just going to do an RPG because I don't think anyone really cares about gunfire. It's all about how many explosives it can take, really. So we're gonna find that out really quick here. So I got the RPG in hand. Should I hit it in the front or the side? I think I'm going to hit it directly in the front. Let's see if it can survive one shot. It sure can. It has broken all the windows. But the car is not smoking, actually, which is a pretty good sign. So you can get hit by an RPG in this thing and still drive away. So that's cool. Let's do a second RPG and confirm what I believe is true, that this thing can only take 2 shots. Yes, I am correct. Okay. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the customization and the review today. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, dislike by all means. And subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, take care. Peace.